Здравейте, аз съм цигуларят 스베틀린루세브 и се радвам да съм тук. 안녕하세요, 바이올리니스트 스베틀린루세브입니다. I'm here to introduce my actual travel companion, which happens to be a very old, vintage, extremely heavy, good 10 kilos. One can exercise with it. At the same time, double case, which contains everything from iPad, scores, wallet, viola, which is very new for me. I just did my first notes on the viola, and a violin that I'll be using for my next concert. Let me show you. My violin, which just got new strings and is completely out of tune. And brand new viola. Of course, I have spare strings, I have rosin, I have medication if necessary, which I never use. I have cufflinks. Since it's a very old case, I need to hold it because otherwise it doesn't stay. It's a very special so-called practice mute because I hate bothering people, and as we artists spend a lot of time in hotel rooms, it's a very nice way to be able to practice without interfering with other people's privacy. Like full sound. If I place this device, so I put it on the bridge, vibrations and sound, which is not any louder than a TV set in a hotel room or something. So I can basically just practice anything, and then it becomes very pleasant for the environment. And this is one has to be very careful because it's rather heavy. If I drop it, it would make some damage. I picked up this instrument in June, which is not even 2 months ago. And I did my very first notes ever on the viola. I started as a violinist because my both parents were violinists, and it has never been a question to play the viola because there were no occasions to play the viola. So when the idea for me playing both instruments in one piece, written by Arnaud Schoenberg, which is called the Pierrot Lunaire, which we just did at the Olympic Festival, I was very intrigued by the challenge. And I said, maybe I can try doing both. So it's relatively the way it works. It's of course much bigger, the sound emission is a bit slower, but it works pretty much the same as the violin. The only difficulty for me was just reading the clef, because the notation is different. If we are talking about a love story, because hopefully it's not the last time I touch a viola and I play the viola, it's a very recent one, just few weeks. As I'm just doing my solo violin recital, it was a kaleidoscope, some sort of arch about violin literature. And every time I go back to Johann Sebastian Bach, it's quite striking how revolutionary, visionary, genius these people were. Solo violin by Bach remains one of the monuments of what we do. During my studies as a young boy, I would first go for violinist composers. So all the people who developed the instrument, the possibilities of the instruments like Paganini. It became very challenging, but it would become also very interesting music. And then after that period where I, as a young boy, practiced, I moved to romantic composers. People like Brahms, Johannes Brahms. I believe I've played almost everything he wrote. And then I got back to the classical composers earlier, which I never before, I still don't quite feel comfortable. And then, of course, I had to do contemporary music the whole time. I had to do Baroque. So I figured out that nowadays I categorize music. What I like is good music, well-written music, and what I appreciate is development, composers' ideas, harmonic language. It's a major piece of the last century, of the 20th century, which I believe is hugely underrated, because this concerto has everything. It has exuberance, it has passion. This particular concerto is one of the many. It's very funny because most of the famous violin concertos are in D major. It's a particular key, particular light or temperature or spirit or harmonies. I like challenges, and My vision is that we have to move forward and learn things and enrich our repertoire. Well, this is actually new. So presenting it, I was just looking at the score. I see how many different, because yesterday I used a very thick 6B pencil, constantly changing bowings and fingerings, adapting things to new ideas. And even if we look at the rhythms, 3/4, 4/4, 2/4, it constantly changes. It makes it very, very challenging. I believe it will be a storytelling to the audience, sharing this moment of music, where people will be moved, will forget about their worries, will just share special moments, being passengers in this special journey with us. I believe hopefully we'll all be happy with the experience.